rise. Pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Susie, roll call.
Councilmember Groves.
Here.
Councilmember Chambers.
Here.
Councilmember Salzweedl.
Here.
Councilmember Yankovic.
Yes.
And Mayor DeVore.
Here. Chief.
All right, thank you all for coming. We are here to recognize one of our own, Dave Hirsch. If you want to come forward, Dave. Dave is, last month, on September 9th, surpassed 20 years of service with the police department as a part-time officer. He started back in 2002. Before that, I think he worked at Lake Odessa, correct?
Yep.
Lake Odessa Police Department. Spent 30 years with the Department of Corrections as his full-time job. You were a guard, right? Oh, you were. Started inside, probation, parole, ended up retiring as a supervisor, correct? His lovely wife Karen is here somewhere. Back there, they've got 3 kids
3 kids?
and a bunch of grandkids, right?
6.
Okay, 6. Dave has been with us, I was thinking about this. Myself, Dave, and Leslie Heffron, right back there, are the only 3 of us that are left that were hired by Jim Valentine, if you remember who he was. So, we're kind of exclusive.
I was hired by Jim.
Oh, okay, Gordy? All right, sorry. So, I worked with Dave throughout his whole career. I remember the first time I saw him out on the street. I was working in my own car, and Dave was with someone else, and we were at a trailer park in town here, and my first impression was, man, this guy's kind of old. He started to be a police officer. But we went there for some reason. I don't remember why. Probably kids drinking, which is what we usually chase kids around for back then. Ended up chasing this kid down and catching him. Really surprising. So, before I have this position, I was primarily on nights, and Dave was usually coming out and working our Friday and Saturday nights for us. And works other things too, but I'd see him mainly on the weekends. Had a lot of fun together. We still have fun together. I was trying to think of some good stories to tell here about Dave, or maybe tell some of the jokes he likes to tell, but I don't think this is the appropriate setting for that. So we want to recognize Dave for his years of service. We did make him a nice plaque for 20 years. This is in recognition of your dedication, resilience, sacrifice for 20 years of service to the city of Lowell, to its residents, and to your brothers and sisters in the blue and the brown. Thank you. September 9th, 2002 to September 9th, 2022. Now, because he's been here so long, we also have a policy where we can recognize our officers with an official award. So we are going to present Dave with the Professional Excellence Award. He'll get a ribbon. He'll get to wear in his uniform. I don't think we've actually issued this one yet, so Dave will be the first one. This is on September 9th, 2002. Dave Hirsch was sworn into the Lowell Police Department as a part-time officer. This award is to recognize 20 years of solid service to the community and to the department. Officer Hirsch has made thousands of consistent contacts through traffic enforcement calls of service, criminal investigations, and other, or simply stopping by the local business for a cup of coffee. He has worked day shift, night shift, special events, and assisted the police department and the city hall on countless other tasks. Officer Hirsch would often fill a last-minute opening in the schedule when called upon. Officer Hirsch has earned the respect of all those with whom he has worked with, to those appointed over him, and to the several members of this community. He has always done the right thing for the right reason at the right time. He has been a trustworthy, reliable, and dependable member of our staff, good friends to all. He has never brought a bad light upon himself or to his fellow officers. Therefore, the Lowell Police Department wants to recognize Officer Dave Hirsch with a citation for professional excellence for his dedication, perseverance, and faithful service to the department and our community.
Yeah. Which one?
All right, so here. Where's Karen? Now, as you know, if you're in public service, you're never really off, no matter what's going on. And we want to recognize Karen as well. The profession of law enforcement takes a special individual who can withstand a variety of situations and people. In this profession, there are no holidays, no weekends off, no closing due to weather, a pandemic, or a disaster. In order for an individual to be a success in this profession and to obtain longevity, a person must have the support of their peers, their organization, and most importantly, their family. Today, the Lowell Police Department and the City of Lowell wish to recognize Karen Ursch. For the past 20 years, Karen has allowed us the honor of working with her husband, Dave. She has given up countless nights, weekends, and holidays with Dave so that he could be here for the police department, the city, and its residents. We want to extend our gratitude, appreciation, and our thanks for supporting Dave these past 20 years.
Well, thank all of you. I don't really know what to say. Chris called me and said, coming into town tonight? And I said, didn't have plans on it. Didn't plan on it really. Just be in town tonight, 6:30 at the council meeting, put your uniform on and bring your wife. So, I said, bring my wife. I thought, wow, I'm really in trouble. Both my bosses. I just want to say thanks to all of you. And there's a lot of people here that I can't thank, you know, but you're not here. Jim Valentine, you know, a lot of the chiefs, Chris Hurst, Bill Heffron's here. Worked with him many times when he worked for the sheriff's department. And but no, thanks all of you. I really don't know what to say. I'm speechless. So, you know, for one,
How about a foot race with the chief and
Yeah.
Next meeting.
Don't discuss that as he sits
9
down.
Thanks,
Thank
Dave.
you. Thank you.
thank you.
All right, motion for tonight's consent agenda.
I'll make that motion.
I'll support. Discussion or changes tonight? Sue?
Councilmember Groves.
Yes.
Mayor DeVore.
Yes.
Councilmember Salzweedl.
Yes.
Councilmember Yankovic.
yes.
And Councilmember Chambers.
Yes. Citizen comment for items not on the agenda tonight.
Perry Beecham, I reside at 924 Riverside Drive. Just wanted to recognize a group this weekend. I'm on the trail, or the LARA, which is the Lowell Area Recreation Authority, which oversees the trails, and we had a cleanup, and we had community members from the city, from Virgins, and Lowell Township, along with some students from the Interact, from Lowell High School, from the Interact group. We trimmed up, we hauled away 3 trailers of brush that was overgrown and 2 truckloads. So we got a lot accomplished, and I wanted to thank the city for their continued support, and I wanted to thank Lowell Light and Power. We did have a couple large dead trees that were on the south spur behind Tractor Supply, and mentioned it to Light and Power, and they were out there today and got those taken down. And so thank you to Lowell Light and Power. Thank you.
Thanks, Barry. Anybody else?
Good evening, my name is Karen Tejano. I reside at 6190 Wild Current Way. And I'm here simply to make you aware of a situation that some of you may or may not have knowledge about. On December 10th of 2021, I was with my daughter and her family enjoying your Christmas celebration in Lowell. Santa was here on the showboat, and we were waiting in line. And I chose to get out of line, walk up front, and kind of observe things. And I walked towards the showboat. There was a large window. I walked towards the showboat to take a better look. And much to my surprise, I found myself in the river. There were luckily people standing in line that assisted me out of the water. And I was taken into the Liz Baker's office, the Chamber of Commerce, and she helped me get in some dry clothes and assisted me. Then on December 14th, I returned to Liz's office to return her clothing and speak with her, and we further discussed the incident and my genuine concern for the safety or non-safety of the situation. And Liz reassured me she was going to be having a meeting with several city officials regarding this incident, and I asked her if she could please provide me with follow-up, which she did. On December 17th, I received a letter from her, and she reassured me that she had had a meeting with several of the city officials and also the committee for the showboat committee, and that they were going to work on implementing to improve the safety of the area located by the showboat. So that was December 17th. On June 15th, 2022, I revisited the site, and I again stopped in to see Liz, and I was very concerned because there was just a few benches put up, extra flower pots, and a very small, less than a 1-inch rope strung along the side of the boat. At that point, on June 22nd, I sent a letter to Chief Hurst, Mike Burns, Dan Zarnecki, Shannon Witherall, again expressing my genuine concern for the safety. And I waited a month. July 20th, I had received no response at all from my letters. So I sent an email to Chief Hurst. I did receive a reply that same day. And he said that he had received my complaint. I'd like to look at it more as a concern. But after speaking, he said, after speaking with our insurance provider, they suggested bringing back the fencing to remediate any risk management concerns. We are in the process of reinstalling it. I hope by sometime this summer, the fencing will return. It is now October 3rd. I am disappointed and remain genuinely concerned that nothing further has been done. I am extremely lucky, and I think quite frankly the city is very lucky, that I was not more seriously injured. As the winter evenings become dark and I am sure holiday events will again be planned, I fear that a more tragic accident could easily occur, especially if a child should fall in the water. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Can I get your name and spelling, please?
Karen Dehano, D-E, capital H-E-N-A-U.
Thank you.
As an aside, just so council's aware, the DDA will be addressing this matter on Thursday at their DDA meeting. And so there's a proposal to reinstitute the fence at the site.
Now, anybody else? All right, old business number A, 115. See what's in the consent agenda. It's just. Michael.
Actually, I think Charlie's going to
You don't
make a
gotta get
statement,
up, man.
make a statement as to what they talked
No,
discussed
you can do
about.
whatever you want. Do whatever you want.
I just thought you guys want to see me up here. Use the microphone. All right, thanks. Was asked to provide an update on the discussion from the September board meeting for Lowell Light and Power regarding line check. So at the September Lowell Light and Power board meeting, the Lowell Light and Power board had an extensive conversation regarding the line check. This conversation was a result of City Council's request for Lowell Light and Power board feedback following the City Council's rejection of the resolution that would have sold the line check to Copper Rock Construction. The Light and Power Board unanimously passed two motions during the meeting. The first motion that was approved with a 5-0 unanimous vote was to recommend to City Council to pursue the first option that City Manager Mike Burns presented to the council, which was to select another applicant who submitted a proposal and to move forward. The Lowell Light and Power Board made this recommendation based on how challenging the process has been to divest of the property, which no longer serves an operational need for Lowell Light and Power, while still representing a liability to the City of Lowell and Lowell Light and Power. The level of interest that has been shown through the last two RFP process indicates that there's a significant appetite for the property. If we fail to divest of the property now, there's a good chance that interest cools off, making the sale more challenging in the future. The Lowell Light and Power Board also highlighted that interest rates are still increasing, and the Fed has indicated plans to continue the upward pressure on interest rates. Interest rate pressure could significantly reduce the interest in developing the property. The Light and Power Board was not supportive of the other three options, specifically stating that taking no action was not a desirable approach, nor reinstituting another RFP process. With the level of interest that is currently being expressed in the line check, the Lowell Light and Power Board strongly urges the City Council to seek out and reach an agreement on the sale of the line check. This enables the City and Light and Power to take advantage of what could potentially be our best opportunity to maximize the value of the property. By doing nothing, there continues to be a liability associated with the property. The property is deteriorating, and with the interest in the property, the Light and Power Board is not receptive to investing additional funds into the demolition of the building while foregoing the proceeds from the sale. Depending on the cost of the demolition, this could represent a significant financial swing for Lowell Light and Power. Lowell Light and Power customers have paid for and received the benefits of the line check building while it was in use, and now a sale of the property will allow Light and Power customers to benefit from the proceeds. The second motion, which was approved with a 5-0 unanimous vote, was to recommend to City Council to accept the proposal submitted by Greg Canfield. The Light and Power Board discussed a variety of justifications to provide additional clarity to the board's position. These included this proposal. Mr. Canfield's proposal contained the highest offer price of $150,000. This proposal contained no contingencies. The public was very concerned with the parking situation associated with the Copper Rock proposal, and Mr. Canfield's proposal does not create the same magnitude of parking issues. Mr. Canfield has a proven track record of successful development in Lowell. Mr. Canfield has a proven track record of being able to overcome unforeseen issues in development, which will be important to the development of this unique property. The uniqueness of the property creates a need for adaptability, as was evidenced during the pursuit of the sale to Copper Rock. Mr. Canfield also verbally spoke about walking away from the property and giving it back to the city and allowing the city to keep the proceeds from the sale in the event of a default on the purchase and development agreement. If this can be incorporated into an agreement with adequate protections, it significantly changes the risk associated with the sale of Mr. Canfield. In summary, the Light and Power Board is recommending the acceptance of the proposal from Mr. Canfield because they feel his proposal maximizes the value of the property while minimizing the risks associated with a stranded development.
Thank you. So I asked, Light and Power didn't want any part of this, obviously, that's why we took it, and I asked Charlie and Perry to at least bring it to the board and give us some feedback. So I'm glad to see that it was thorough, and it's a good relationship with us in Light and Power, so it's easy to ask for their feedback or an opinion once in a while. Do you have anything else on this?
I do not. As I stated before, if you want to move forward with anyone, I've given you the options before. You could look at one of the other proposals. You could go back out for RFP. You could do nothing. Those are all your options. If you do want to move forward with somebody, obviously we have to have a draft resolution. It has to sit for 20 days. We need 4 votes in the affirmative for it.
3 for the resolution, 4 for the sale, right?
Correct.
Well, I said last time, I don't think doing nothing, and I don't think a new RFP is an option for me. I believe you said the same thing. And if you're going in the interest of fairness, in the interest of procedure, the next one on the list is Main Street Inn. I'll make a motion when we start a 20-day resolution for the Main Street Inn extension proposal from Greg Canfield.
I'll support.
Any discussion?
Eric Barkus, 215 West Main. I believe Greg Canfield's proposal is an excellent one, and I think it would be very good for the city to have his establishment there. I would ask you to just reconsider just a green space with a park or a gazebo or a picnic shelter, something in that small of space that everyone could enjoy with picnic lunches and enjoying the park. But I like what Greg Canfield has planned, but I would ask you to just think one more time about green space. Thank you.
Thanks, Eric. Any other public comment? All right, motion and a second. Any discussion from the council? Hearing none, we'll vote to.
Mayor DeVore,
Yes?
Councilmember Salzweedl,
Yes.
Councilmember Yankovic,
No.
Councilmember Chambers,
Yes.
Councilmember Groves.
No.
Okay. It'll carry.
Mayor, if I could just point out, so what that means is that I'll bring that first resolution back to the next meeting. So today doesn't start the 20 days. just so you know.
Well, we did this with the line shack.
I know.
We could
but
just, I could prepare the resolution tomorrow and sit it. I mean, that's what we did the
Let's
last
talk
time.
about it offline.
Okay.
All right, now we'll open the public hearing for the IFT extension at Big Boiler, 318 East Main. Open comment time for any public. Okay, it's rousing. We'll close the public hearing for the IFT extension. Mike, go ahead.
Sure. On October 2nd, 2017, the Lowell City Council approved a 5-year industrial facility tax credit for Big Boiler Brewing LLC's microbrewery operation located at 318 East Main. They were not granted the 12 years initially, as we wanted them to come back for the additional 7 years to ensure they are complying with everything they need to on their end. In my previous experience, I've always recommended 5-year abatements to ensure personal property was properly accounted for. Since personal property tax is being completely phased out in 2023, we modified our abatement policy in 2019 to a scoring system to determine the number of years for the abatement. This policy was not scored under the current policy. However, Big Boiler has met all of their obligations under the abatement. They have submitted updated information to be eligible to receive their final 7 years of the abatement. The total amount in real property improvements for the site was approximately $465,000. That's what the abatement is for, and that was new investment at the time. I've attached Resolution 29-22 and an updated property tax abatement agreement for Big Boiler LLC. I have no extensions to extending the I have no objections to extending the remaining 7 years of the abatement for Big Boiler Brewing LLC.
That was the original thought process was, let's give them half and see if they deliver, and I think they've over-delivered. I mean, they're a huge part of the town now, and they're still delivering up and down Main Street, so. Any other discussion on that? How about a motion for resolution 2922?
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion? Sue?
Councilmember Salzweedl,
Yes.
Councilmember Yankovic,
Yes.
Councilmember Chambers,
Yes.
Councilmember Groves,
Yes.
Mayor DeVore.
Yes. Michael?
Yep.
990 North Washington, yes.
In June 2022, the city council extended the lease with Sandy Bartlett and Gary Dietzel, who rent from the city-owned home at 990 North Washington. This lease was scheduled to expire on June 30, 2022, but was extended to September 30, 2022 to provide them more time to find adequate housing. Tuesday, September 20th, 2022, Mayor DeVore, Mayor Pro Tem Chambers, and Chief Hurst went to the residence and made contact with Mr. Dietzel. Mr. Dietzel informed them he would not leave as agreed upon on September 30th, 2022. For the time being, I have directed all city staff to ensure they do not take any future rent payments from Mr. Dietzel and Ms. Bartlett. I was informed that they made their September payment on September 9th. Need direction on the next steps for this. One option would be to extend the lease further if you saw this being necessary. My concern is how many times do you continue this and how long do you extend it if this is what you would like to do. Another option is to begin the process of eviction. This will take a few months to move through this process. If you were to take this step, I would suggest looking at making sure resources can be made available to assist them. Once complete, this will allow for discussion to occur on the future of this property.
Jessica, anything?
Yeah, actually I do. I think this is something you can think about. We haven't really delved into the law here of allowing somebody to stay at less than market rate value. I'm not sure who's paying the taxes on this house at this point, but we've got some legal issues to discuss if you're seriously considering letting them stay longer. You're not in the housing business. This is a public piece of property, so.
The city is paying the taxes through the payments he makes to the city.
Which would
Lowers
reduce the
the
amount
market
of rent
value
they're
even more.
paying
Correct.
effectively
Yeah,
going further. So again, happy to give some sort of legal opinion on this. I haven't been asked to delve into the issues on the public lending of credit, but there are some issues here in continuing to allow them to stay.
Yep. Well, I thought the purpose of the extension in June or May or whatever it was,
June.
was to allow them time to do what they needed to do and make necessary steps, and maybe get some help if they needed it. But as of going over there on the 20th, just to say, hey, we're meeting's coming up and we're at the 10-day mark here, we're just going to see where you at. We're not, what's the word, welcome.
No.
And no progress has been made there whatsoever. So it's my opinion that the extension has done nothing to assist, but more to enable. So I wouldn't be in favor of continuing to be a landlord any longer, because it's not our business to
I
be
agree.
landlords.
I think that when he came in here, we all gave him a fair chance to share his story and his experience, and we allowed the extension to happen. Some of us in favor and some of us not, but it happened. And it was clear, he was here face to face, he needed the agreement. And so unfortunately, that's what it is.
He provided us three options, in which two we agreed upon, one we did not. And I think we're more than kind to give that extension. He did talk about possibly growing some vegetables, so you can do that this year as part of that through to the fall, so you can do a harvest and that part of it. But there's been, actually the place has gotten worse looking than it did before. So there was never any extent intent on it. I could see that he was to maintain it and keep it up and do what he thought we would have to do.
And initially, in the initial renewal of the lease, not the extension, but it was agreed upon that because we saw that we were well below market rate. We increased it to what could still be comfortable for them, which is still well below market rate, with the intentions he had of fixing up the property and making necessary repairs, covering part of the difference for the rent difference. But as of going there on the 20th, really just for a visit, not for a confrontation or a showdown or anything like that. It was worse than the only other time I've ever been.
I'm not opposed to start the conviction process at this point. Eviction, sorry. Eviction.
Well,
Two different things.
Yeah,
It's different.
Okay, thank you.
I'll move that we have Jessica prepare the necessary paperwork for the eviction at 990 North Washington.
I'll support that.
Any other discussion? Sue?
Councilmember Yankovic,
yes.
Councilmember Chambers,
Yes.
Councilmember Groves,
Yes.
Mayor DeVore,
Yes.
Councilmember Salzweedl.
Yes.
All right, only one under new business, Mike, 855 North Jefferson.
I received a request from Cody Heyer, who resides at 885 North Washington regarding North Jefferson, regarding parking a vehicle along where the sidewalk ends. He has requested to place his Ford Mustang on the grass where the sidewalk ends. He informed me he would cover the vehicle very nicely. I informed him of section 1902, item A, section 2 of the city ordinance, which states parking areas and driveways shall be hard surface and be constructed from the street or alley to the dwelling or accessory building to create a dustless surface, minimize maintenance, and establish an attractive pathway to homes or buildings. I thanked him for reaching out ahead of time and informed him that the city charter doesn't allow me to approve something specifically not permitted by ordinance. However, I told Mr. Heyer I would present this to the city council to see if you were willing to grant an exception on this. I did provide an aerial as to where he wants to go. It's more the left side of that photo, where the hill goes down and where it ends. So I just wanted to seek direction from you before we move forward.
Well, I guess I don't understand the purpose. Storage?
Yeah, for the winter. We wanted to store it for the winter, yes.
But don't we plow in the winter? So then are we liable for anything that comes off the road and hits that car parked right there?
Probably no different than if we did it in someone's car in the driveway.
Yeah.
Right, but we can ticket for parking on the street in the winter, right? To
Yeah.
prevent that,
Yes.
to allow,
Yes.
I'm just, are we increasing the risk by, because it looks like if he's parking in his driveway, he's way up there.
Yeah, I live right
It's
there.
pretty-
It's
yeah.
a tight little area. That sidewalk, actually where you see where it ends, it just dead ends. There's a hill in front of it. And
What's
if you come
past
back,
it? Is that
This
this
way.
street ends too?
no, well, that's
No,
where
the street
Bruce
is
Parker.
carried
Oh, the street turn.
Oh, is that
the
Bruce's
curve?
property?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on the curve.
And then if you come back to the south, again, the sidewalk dead ends into a residential home. You would have to go up probably 2.5 feet, walk across their yard, drop back down on the sidewalk again. As far as the neighbor, we never hear them. They're always neat and clean. They always keep the grass mowed. And there is room for a car to park there.
Right here, you're talking
Yep,
about?
yep.
What is this?
That's
Yeah, what is that black?
That's an old thing. So there was an old cast iron kettle there at one time, I believe.
They had plans in it, didn't they?
Yeah,
That's the
Stop
base
it
of it?
from continuing the sidewalk and
yeah,
going
so
past it.
I know the Barker moved it now. That's down by,
Oh, so this is.
Yeah, that's not there.
that's an old picture.
Okay.
I went by today to look
Yeah.
at the thing. I wish he was here. I was
Yeah,
trying to figure out why you would want to do that.
Yeah,
yeah, that's, it's a thing we've talked about many times up here. Is
Snow
coming
does
to
build
us
up
when you're
pretty good
asking
in
us for
corner
something.
with plows.
Yeah, I don't know. Is there any concern about you let him do this, why can't I do it?
Yeah.
Well, that's part of the reason why, obviously, I could just flat out enforce the ordinance, but I didn't know if you wanted to take it on a case-by-case basis. I could have just said, no, the ordinance doesn't allow it, but.
Well, this is a fair case by case
Right.
because it's a different street setup,
Yeah.
but I don't know that it's enough. I wanna
Sure.
completely disregard an ordinance.
Right.
I don't know what the car is valued, I don't know what it looks like. I mean, to me, if I had a Mustang that I think would be worth some value, I'd probably pay a yearly fee to store it somewhere where I knew it was being protected,
I-
just in general.
I don't like it because, I mean, we had, no offense to the DPW, but once in a while, the plows do get up on the thing and stuff happens, and this is a curve.
Yeah, because of the tree ring.
You know,
I,
I'm,
Go ahead.
I don't want to be rude, but there's a 2-car garage.
and the,
You can, if you have
Long
long cars,
driveway.
you can put your special car in there for the winter.
well, you could even put a car halfway down and still use the 2 cars.
Or
and-
on-
Not with that hill.
Not those two
Yeah, it's a
drives.
deep.
This one and the next one.
I want to buy it.
Yeah.
You can't drive around a car on the
We're
hill?
not.
Okay.
I move that we direct the city manager to follow the ordinance in this matter.
I support.
Discussion? Sue?
Councilmember Chambers,
Yes.
Councilmember Groves,
Yes.
Mayor DeVore,
Yes.
Councilmember Salzweedl,
Yes.
and Councilmember Yankovic.
Yes.
Cliff, Board and Commission report.
HDC didn't happen, and, yeah.
Tim?
I think we have some coming up next week, but right now.
Yep, I have Fire Authority, or DDA this Thursday, Fire Authority next Thursday. Marty?
Mine are Monday.
Yeah.
I have a Parks and Rec coming up, but I would just like to make it known that the director, the executive director of the Chamber of Commerce position is up. It is out there. I know people are applying, so if you know somebody who would be great for our city, have them apply.
Not gonna be better than this,
Giant shoes to fill.
but, speaking of boards and commissions, Charlie, if you could extend my thanks to your board. I know it was supposed to happen last week and I couldn't be here, and I asked for it to be tabled so I could be here, but I'm appreciative of Light and Power's board and Light and Power as a whole. Mike, city manager's report.
Yes, as the council's aware, about 3 weeks ago, I sent a letter to the township asking them to form the Joint Water Advisory Committee to address the plant expansion as required by our agreement with Lowell Township. I did get a call back from Jerry Hale today. They would like to proceed with that. The one thing that I haven't done yet is we need to figure out who would be on that advisory committee. There has to, according to the agreement, there has to be 3 representatives from the city, 3 representatives from the township. And they would be responsible for looking at the plan expansion, or whatever path we go. And so I need to know who would like to serve on that.
May I?
Yeah, go ahead.
I talked to Mike about this earlier. My thought process was Mike, obviously, Marty, because of his construction background and knowledge, and Marty's been with me on all the water meetings previous, and Dan. So, nothing official, I'm not appointing anybody, just my 2 cents on the matter. Does anybody have any objections to that at all, or wants to
Did
do
you
it?
say they had to be citizens or
So it has to be 3 people of the city council's choosing.
Objections, Jim, or no?
No, I just want to make sure, because I'm sure Dan lives in the city, and I just want to make sure that it had to be a city representative. That's it.
No, the agreement never said anything pertaining to the city residents.
It's ultimately going to affect Dan's job. It's ultimately going to affect Mike's job. And Marty, when it comes to that, is the best we got up here, so.
Are you all right with being on there, Marty? Okay.
No, you don't ask Marty, you just.
I didn't see him raise his hand.
If there's no objections, we'll just appoint them.
Okay.
But Jerry has his 3, right?
Yeah, it's going to be, for them, it's going to be Rhonda, their treasurer, Jerry, and Bill Thompson.
You good with that? Yeah. All right, that's the
If
water.
you need support, Marty, let us know.
Okay, you'll stand out there with the baseball bat.
No.
Sorry, go ahead.
Today I did receive an estimate, I did receive an update from BLDI. They're gonna be going back out, doing some of that earthwork, in the next couple of weeks. They did give me an estimate to remove the soil at the Moose property. As you already were aware, that is not something BLDI recommended that we needed to do. It's gonna be in the range of $200,000 to $250,000. And that doesn't include tree removal. They did not have a price for tree removal, but there's gonna be a lot of trees that had to be removed, so I don't know what that would be. But that's what they came back to us at. I want to thank Dave Irsch for his 20 years of service with the city. Dave's always been Johnny on the spot when we need to fill in the police department, which is becoming more of a challenge for the police department. But that being said, he still steps up whenever he can, and I want to thank him for his years of service to the city. I also want to welcome Janelle Velkamp to the city. She's our new deputy treasurer. She'll be replacing Lori Gerard, who's going to be retiring end of this year.
Did she start?
She started last week.
Okay.
So we're getting her trained, and the nice thing is we were able to have Lori help train her, so the transition could be a little bit smoother when that happens. Last week I met with both business agents for both unions pertaining to the West Michigan Health Insurance Pool. I anticipate something coming to you very shortly. I also did meet with the union stewards. If you're not aware, the police union actually has to approve it. We have a meet and confer with the IBEW where they don't necessarily have to approve it, but I will be bringing that to you shortly. New Union Brewery, they have submitted drawings for their parking lot. They have informed me the week of October 16th is when they're planning on pouring. There's a couple of little things we got to figure out with their plan, but we're trying to make sure that we move forward with that. And lastly, I just learned tonight, I was not selected as the city manager for the city of Grand Haven. Looks like they're going to be going with their internal candidate, but I'm very happy where I'm at, and it was an opportunity I just couldn't pass up, so thank you.
All right. Resignation from Rita Reister on DDA. So if you're a downtown business owner and you'd like to be on the DDA and hang out with us on Thursdays at noon, come down and see Susie and grab an application. Council comments, Leah?
We had coffee with council Saturday, and our world got a little shaken because Perry always has something to say, and Perry sat there with a smile on his face and had zero bad comments. It was unbelievable. I thought the minute we walked out, an asteroid's coming down, that was that.
I made a point of it.
Yes, you did.
He brought it to our attention.
Yep.
And then
Tonight, so apparently we have a new and improved Perry Beach. I am going to buy a lottery ticket when I leave. So,
I don't know how you can improve on that.
and the other thing is we got cold weather coming up. We have vehicles that are constantly being asked to be moved. I'd like us to have those vehicles moved to an area that is easier for DPW to keep our lots clean, especially in the winter. Like back here, park them over here or wherever DPW thinks the best place for them to sit for the winter is. I understand they have to be here, but I'm trying to make it so DPW can do their job without hitting something, plowing something in, coming back on us. So and we have a lot of them that sit there. So that's it.
Cool. Jim?
I'm good, thank you.
Cliff?
I would like to thank the Lara people for their excellent work on Saturday. Unfortunately, I own a retail store Saturday. I couldn't lend a hand, but it's cool that they did that, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, I don't have anything, Jim.
Motion adjourned at 7:43.
Support. Motion and a second to adjourn. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Adjourned.